I need a little clarification on ego, keeping ego balanced, the personality part of yourself that likes to fill the room in your mind with chatter.
Well, it's always fun for us to take a concept, and especially a big concept like ego, and work it over from the framework of stable laws of the universe. And the first thing that we like to say about what humans call ego is that, and we started there today already, when we talked about creation is about focusing. And in fact, even being in your physical body is about focusing. So when you understand that you are an eternal being and that you are non-physically focused eternally, and that a part of that focused energy is focused, a small part of it is focused into the personality that you know as you, we sort of kind of want to call that ego, in the sense that it is a personality and an awareness of self that is more specific than the awareness of self that is the non-physical you who exists in the non-physical. Does that make sense to you? No? You don't like our version?
No, I'm not quite sure that it didn't just go over my head.
Well, what we're getting at, what do you mean when you say ego?
The mind and personality part of our character.
So that's what we're talking about. The you that's focused in this body, the mind and personality. But do you accept that the personality that is you in this body is a vibrational distinction from the you from which you came and the you that exists as this eternal being? So we spend all of our words wanting to blend all of this together. You were non-physical, we say. A part of you came forth egotistically into this physical body, being the egotistical personality that you know as you, feeling the selfish awareness of what your perspective is. And then as you sift through the details, knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want, you send these rockets of desire into the vortex where the larger part of you benefits from the ego perspective of the physical leading edge time-space reality you. So the egotistical you has caused the spirit, source, soul, God force you to expand. So we're using the word ego in a way to define focus, more specific focus. So then humans keep talking about ego as it's a bad thing. You, in fact, equated ego with chatter. And we want to say to you, oh, you haven't heard chatter till you've come into the vortex where infinite intelligence is. In other words, we're talking about everything, and we're all talking all at once. All knowing, all speaking, all spewing, all talking, all, in other words. So we don't think it's the chatter that's the problem. We think it's the out of the vortexness. We think it's the resistance. One of the things that we like so much about the distinctions that we're making between the vortex, being in the vortex and not being in the vortex, is that non-physical is always in the vortex. Always in the vortex. So it's only a physical, focused, egotistical person who could focus themselves out of the vortex or focus themselves into the vortex. So what so many are calling that ego that is the problem is just that out of the vortex moment. That's all. Because when you think about what we've been talking about here today. It's been really fun, and this adds to it in a powerful way. That if you are out of the vortex and really egotistically specific, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. In other words, the more you think, the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the more you notice it, the more you notice it, the worse it gets, the worse. In other words, that's that chatter that you want to avoid. And so we say, let it go, get general, get into the vortex, get general, get into the vortex. But then the vortex is going to spin you into the specifics, into what you're calling chatter. We call it power. We call it clarity. We call it adventure. We call it exposure. Lots of really good ideas. So maybe what you're helping us say is that inside the vortex, the chatter is so well tended to by the powerful law of attraction that chatter becomes clarity in the vortex. While outside of the vortex, it's just fragmented this and that and this and that.
Thank you.
That is
feels
a
good.
very good distinction, isn't it?
Thank you. It feels good.
And we would really like to, once and for all, put to rest. We know it won't happen here, but we'll speak it anyway. You've got to stop giving ego such a bad rap. You came with your focus. What you're really not liking is the ego who's out of the vortex. But your personality, your beingness, your presenting yourself, your sifting and sorting, you are a valid consciousness. And without your ego, you could not focus. And if it were not for the egotistical version of Esther, you'd be hearing silence as we stand here beaming in infinite intelligence. In other words,
thank you.
It is your personality that makes the manifestation out of it. Without your ego, this non-physical energy would not manifest into the tangible, delicious physical universe that you are all about, you see. Your ego matters, and it's a good thing. Just take it to the vortex where it belongs.
Thank you. Thank you.